Hey everyone, welcome. It's been 19 days post-surgery for my bilateral mastectomy with chest expanders and going into week 3 of recovery, so I thought I'd give you guys an update. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Just a little bit of background. Back in October of 2021, what I thought was an infected cyst ended up being stage 2 breast cancer. Invasive ductal carcinoma, and since then, in the span of a little over 5 months, I've completed 16 rounds of chemotherapy, 4 rounds of AC, and 12 rounds of Taxol, and I just recently had my surgery, so I wanted to just give you some insight on my experience. I know that everyone's body is different, so you really can't compare yourself to another individual, but maybe just some things that can help. And hopefully this will give you a little bit of insight and help you on your own personal journey. So the surgery itself took a little over 6 hours, 4 hours for the double mastectomy, and then a little over 2 hours to place the chest expanders in. And of course, it's always an option not to have the reconstruction at all, and I completely respect that decision as well, because some women don't want to go through that painful process of having the expanders or have any of the possible complications that can come with having breast implants. So I can completely understand just going flat and staying flat, just recovering from the double mastectomy. I myself personally just wasn't quite ready to give up that part of myself just yet, but that is always an option, just going flat. So I opted with just doing the chest expanders, which what will happen is once I've recovered a little bit more, they will be injecting my chest, both sides, with a saline solution that will help stretch the skin over time. And then a few months from now, after my skin has stretched enough, that's when we'll do the implant exchange. Right now, as you can see, I'm pretty flat chested. I really don't have any volume. I have about 100 cc's of saline solution on this side, or actually on my right side, and then a little bit more on my left side. The reason being they didn't put as much on my right side is because it would be tighter due to having the 3 lymph nodes under my arms removed. Initially, I had watched a video where they mentioned that removing the lymph nodes, because they're part of the lymphatic system and their connection to white blood cells, that it could potentially affect your ability to fight off certain infections. But I was reading something yesterday that was saying that was actually not the case, that it doesn't impair your ability to fight off certain infections. So I'm going to ask my doctor about that later. But with the surgery, it was very successful. My surgeon said that when they removed the tumor, it went from 4 centimeters originally down to 1 centimeter or a little bit smaller. And out of that tumor, only about 5% of it was active cancer cells. So that just was a testament to how well my body had responded to the chemotherapy, that it really did its job. It shrank that tumor tremendously. And so that was really cool to hear. When I woke up from surgery, I was very alarmed and surprised at how limited and restricted my arm movement was. I mean, I expected it, but at the same time, I guess I really didn't. You could only kind of move your elbows, and I remember the bedside tray that had water on it. I really wanted to get it, but I could not move my arm or extend my arm far enough to reach it, and it was right beside me. And that was just so odd to me. It was like I was trying to command my arms to move, but they wouldn't. I had trouble using the bathroom the first 2 times. I didn't even have the arm strength to pull my arms or my pants up and down. That's how weak my grip and my arms were. And I did have pain just all through my rib cage, under my arms. There seemed like there was a burning sensation, especially where my tubes were. I started off with 5 drains, and now I'm down to 2. Hopefully I'll be able to remove these 2 today when I see the doctor, but as you can see, they just collect the fluids that are building in your chest. And I still have my chest wrapped up. This is not the same wrap that I used initially. I've changed it multiple times, so I do recommend before your surgery. They always changed it when I went to see my my surgeon, but I recommend getting a few of these. I have a softer one underneath because this one's a little bit scratchy, but I recommend getting a few of these. The widest ones that you can find are better. If you can find the 6-inch ones, and that way you can change them. I wasn't able to shower until after a week, and what really helped me with my showering or my sponge bathing is these guys right here. I just ordered off of Amazon, and they're really soft cloths. All you have to do is add water, and they lather up really well. They're very super soft on your skin because your skin's going to be tight and sensitive to the touch. It's almost kind of like a sunburn feeling, and I still use them even in my shower now, just to kind of help me lather up and get under my arm, because these guys, unfortunately, they do drain a little bit as well. That gets on your shirt and like your bandage, kind of like the white yellowish fluid that comes from the tubes themselves. There we go. My little light decided to shut off mid video, but I had 5 of these drains and 2 of these little black bags that I was carrying the drains, as well as these 2 pain balls that were releasing pain medication for the next couple of days. My surgery was on a Wednesday, and or no, was it on a Thursday? I can't quite remember, but anyways, by Sunday I was able to remove the 2 pain balls, and they were just connected to my back by these very thread-like thin attachments that just pull right out. They're just taped onto your back. You pull them right out. It was really uncomfortable the first 3 days while I had those in, and they shrink as the medication runs out, but it was really uncomfortable because after a while, carrying all of that just on your neck just starts to feel super heavy. I remember I felt so much pressure on the top of my shoulders. I felt like I was being like crushed inward, because you're already experiencing a lot of shoulder pain and rib cage pain, but carrying around those 2 big pain balls plus your drains, which are at that time just filling up constantly, it was really uncomfortable. The first few days after surgery, and I did stay at the hospital overnight. I was able to go home the very next day. The first few days I was pretty exhausted. I just fell in and out of sleep throughout the day. I just listened to my body, rested as I needed to, and the first 2 weeks I did have a lot of pain. Of course, they give you pain medication. I also noticed, even to this day, that I have more trouble regulating my body temperature. I get cold very easily, and I get the shivers occasionally, so a lot of times I have to bundle up with a sweater or put socks on or even keep my cap on. So that was something new that I hadn't expected, was getting cold so easily. Another thing that is helpful that you might consider getting is a mastectomy pillow like this one. I just got it from Amazon, but it has pockets in the front and the back, and it really helps give you some support when you're sleeping, or even if you're riding in the car and you need something to kind of hold on to. And there's these little props for your arms, because I know sleeping in an upright position with your arms just kind of down at your sides, sometimes your arms get a little bit tired, so it's nice to have a little bit of support underneath them. So getting something like this on Amazon, I think, is very helpful. I will say that after surgery, I did not see my chest until a week after my post-op appointment, and my doctor took the wrap off to check the swelling, things like that. Do not expect perfection after you've had your double mastectomy. I was prepared for this. I did look up pictures of what it might look like having chest expanders in. I also have the book from Jen Rosenbaum, I believe is her name. It's titled What the F Just Happened, which is an appropriate title in my mind. But she has pictures of her recovery and the different stages and what that looks like, because, you know, I thought like you get the implants, you just have these firm, perfect breasts, and that's really not the case. Having implants and doing the chest expansion, things like that, it's not ever going to be like your original breast. I believe I'm hoping to go at least to my normal size, which was a B cup or a little bit larger. I think I'll be going up to 500 cc's of, but just note that that's doesn't really equate into an actual size. That could be a C cup on me, but on someone else's frame that might be a B cup. So we'll see. It really just depends on how far your skin can be stretched. Because just imagine, they can't just throw those implants in there, because you know you've just taken out all of this tissue and nerves. Just imagine also having these heavy foreign objects inside your chest while you're trying to recover immediately afterwards as well. And not to mention, you just don't have enough skin to have that those implants in there. So it takes time to stretch that out, and it can be very shocking when you see yourself after surgery, because you're very bruised. Sometimes it can be a little bit lumpy. It may not be very symmetrical at first. It looks painful to the touch. You've got the stitches, you may have scarring. You know, you kind of feel like a science project, or like Frankenstein directly afterwards. So don't be too hard on yourself. It is a shocking thing. Even when I get dressed now and I put on clothing and I see how flat my chest is, if I were to take this bandage off, I actually kind of look like a buff little boy. Like there's there's a little bit there, but because I have the compression bandages, you really can't see it. But even to this day, I'll show you just a little bit. Don't get excited. There's nothing there. But I have a little bit of some cleavage there. So I'm not sure when I'll get that filled. But you know, even now when I get dressed, and it's very weird to me to see myself so flat chested. But you know, I'm feeling a lot better than I did the first week or two. So I cannot wait to have these last 2 tubes removed, because they are such a pain getting dressed, taking a shower. I think I found a Cheerio in my sack the other day, and that's when I knew I was letting myself go. But yeah, I'm super excited about getting these removed, because then I'll actually feel like I'm a little bit more normal and I can start recovering. The first couple of days after surgery, I pretty much fell in and out of sleep all throughout the day. I didn't have too much trouble sleeping at night, surprisingly. I used my couch cushions because they were larger and firmer. I used 2 of those, and then I used a pillow also to kind of help keep me propped up. And I was able to sleep pretty comfortably, although I'm used to sleeping on my side. So it's been hard adjusting to not being able to flip over on my side. Just the other night I had a really sleepless night because my tailbone was starting to hurt. I thought about getting one of those donuts to kind of help alleviate that pressure and that pain, because since you can't really move around, you're stuck sleeping in this upright position. That was really uncomfortable for me, but putting a pillow underneath me, a soft pillow, that actually really helped, and last night I was able to sleep a little bit better. Another really weird thing that I've been experiencing the first 2 weeks, I don't know if it was just due to the pain medication, and this is just my opinion, so this could be completely wrong, but I don't know if it had anything to do with the pain medication, and also maybe my body, my subconscious, trying to work out what happened, because it's not like I had experience an actual trauma. My brain knows I wasn't in a car accident, or I didn't get injured playing a sport or doing something, along those lines. It's like I took a nap and then I woke up and it's like, hey, Thelma and Louise are now gone. There's these foreign objects in there. You're in a lot of pain. What just happened to us? What did you do to us? I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I have been having really vivid nightmares throughout the past couple of weeks. I had one in which I dreamt that a zombie was chasing me down a hallway, and he was trying to rip the stitches out of my chest here, and I woke up screaming, "Help me," multiple times. And I knew I was dreaming, but I just could not rouse myself. I could not break away from that dream. Since I stopped taking Percocet, which was the pain medication that they had me on, I really only tried to take it when I really needed it. But now, going into week 3, since I've been off of that for quite a few days now and just using regular Tylenol, I really haven't had any really intense dreams, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But the first couple of weeks, they're really it's just ups and downs. I didn't think it was going to be as painful as it was going to be, but in my experience, this might actually be the hardest part of my entire treatment, just because my emotional state was really up and down. The pain for me was, hard, getting adjusted to needing so much help. I needed so much help doing a lot of just the common everyday things, putting socks on, putting a sweater on, helping to wrap my chest. I feel so fortunate that my children are older, 14 and 19, because I commend you moms out there who have babies or toddlers or small children and you're going through your treatment or your surgery, because I just cannot imagine how hard that must be. My kids and their dad have been pretty much my arms and feet a lot of times, and they're used to getting things off of shelves for me because I'm short and have these T-Rex arms, but I really counted on them a lot. So one thing that I think is going to be super helpful prior to your surgery, make sure the things that you need are just in easy reach, already on the counter. The things that you use, cups that you need when you're making coffee, when you're getting snacks. I was not able, right when I came home, when I go to brush my teeth, I didn't even have the ability to bend down low enough to put the water from the sink into my mouth to rinse my mouth out. So I definitely suggest having a cup already, just, on the counter. Make sure that you have clothes that are extra large and stretchy, because it was really hard for me to bend my arms at all to get them into sweaters and things like that. I really needed loose, stretchy clothes with buttons down the middle, things like that. And it was painful going from a reclining or resting position and getting myself out of bed. I would get that burning sensation, that tight sensation around my rib cage and under my arms. It's better now. Going into week 3, it's not as strong, but it was pretty painful the first couple of weeks. And a lot of times, occasionally, I'll get this shooting pain, mostly in my right chest where the incision is and where my tumor was. And it would be this burning, shooting pain. And it would last for a couple seconds, sometimes a couple of minutes. One of the nurses were telling me that a lot of women experience that type of pain when their nerves are trying to grow back, or due to scar tissue forming. So that might be what that is. It doesn't last too long, so that's not terrible. I'm definitely able to move my arms much more. So now this is about as high as I can get my arms. That's it. So, just taking it slowly. I've looked up some exercises, post mastectomy exercises, where you can just start off slow. Do not push your body. I had a hard time doing that because I just want to do everything. I want to clean my house. I want to, get myself dressed. I want to go here. I want to do this and that. But, staying home, laying low, taking care of yourself, getting a lot of rest. That's what you really, really need to do. The other night I got super overwhelmed and frustrated because I was in a lot of pain, and I was just thinking about how I have 2 more surgeries to go through, the expander and implant exchange. And then because I did test positive for the BRCA2 mutation, which indicates genetically that you have a very high likelihood of having both breast or ovarian cancer, anywhere between, I think, up to 60 to 70% chance. And so I will be having a hysterectomy at some point in the near future also. And just thinking about, possibly having to go through 2 more surgeries was just hard. Like it just really just bummed me out. But thankfully I'm told that those 2 surgeries really aren't quite as hard to recover from as the bilateral mastectomy. But I also think that my mood had just dipped very low, in addition to being, fatigued and just tired of all the treatments and things like that, and wanting to have more of a normal life. Even though I'm very grateful, I know that I'm still able to move around. It's not, it's not like a death sentence or anything like that. I know that there's people out there who are truly having to overcome some really difficult medical conditions. And I know this is only temporary, but because I'm not able to exercise or go running with my beloved German Shepherd, I didn't realize how much that also affected my mood. It took me many years, up until my late 30s, to have a really good relationship with exercise, to where I didn't see it as this chore. I saw it as a mood stabilizer. I saw it as a time for myself, me time. And I never saw it like that in the past. And now, I realize you reap so many benefits from just making your body move, and getting those endorphins naturally, and just feeling good after a good run, or just, it takes time to build up to that. I think it's not about just maintaining your weight, which I have a very slow metabolism, so I can look at a piece of cake and it's like 5 pounds, bam. But yeah, so that definitely has affected my mood a lot the past couple of weeks. So I'm very much looking forward to the chance to where I can start to actually move more. So the good days, it's good days, bad days. Some days I feel great, my energy level's pretty good, the pain is manageable. And then there's other days where I'm super fatigued and I'm just kind of just tired of everything. But, I know that things will improve. It's just going to take patience. This is a test of patience. Cancer is a test of faith. And so, no judgment if if that's not your thing. But for me, it's just really, I've had to pull out all of in my mind, the God-given strength and within me to really just stay positive and stay strong. Let me see. So yes, also sneezing was painful, and it still kind of is, but it's gotten a little bit better. Coughing, if you get chilly at all and start shivering, that was painful. Laughing was painful, which sucks because if you laugh at your own jokes as much as I do, then you're always in pain. And I'm just generally, I laugh easily at everything. It's ridiculous the things that go on in my mind, but because it hurt to laugh, I would kind of have this very restrained laugh. I can't do it right now, but it's like I wouldn't let the joy reach my eyes because it was just too painful. So thankfully now I can laugh and it's perfectly fine. But just like going over bumps and things like that, of course, when you're in the car, if you are driving your loved one home after surgery, please do not be like my husband and kids and think you're like Vin Diesel and just like fast and furiousing it all over the place, like fair ride. Please just be gentle because it does hurt going over bumps, or even taking sharp turns. To this day, if I bend down far enough, it feels like there's pressure right between my breastbone, and so it's pretty uncomfortable. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention is right after surgery, for the first couple of weeks, I had a very bloated belly. It kind of looked like I was 6 months pregnant, and my doctor said that was very normal after surgery. You know, a major surgery, your body is still trying to overcome the anesthesia, the trauma, the swelling, and so if you have a pretty bloated, extended belly, you know, that's okay, that's normal. It's the swelling for me has started to go down now, but you do definitely want to get a good laxative and stool softener because you're probably not going to poop for like a long time, just to be real. But yeah, so that's where I am right now. I have a doctor's appointment in just a little bit that I'm going to head to, so I will update you guys with any good news, hopefully soon in the future. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this. Please like and subscribe. It's completely free, and that also helps the algorithm so that my videos will get out there and seen by those who might benefit from it. So thank you so much, and take care of yourselves, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.